Welcome back to AppChallenge.net. We're here talking about the EU Life Open Data Set. I'm joined by our resident expert, Philip Rustermeyer. Welcome, Philip.
Hi, Ralph. It's good to be back.
And in this tutorial, we're going to be using JavaScript and various free tools to create more of a complex app. So slightly different take on the tutorials that you've seen before, but still accessing the same data through the UK Data Service API. And if you're not sure how to use the API, then please have a look at the tutorials that we have made previously there, so you can find out how to get your API key, how to register, and a little bit about the data in some of the other tutorials. So Philip, what are we going to learn today?
Today we're going to learn, well, if you've seen one of the earlier tutorials, there's stuff that we've explored the API to make some sense of the data. And now we want to put that knowledge into a little app that allows people who aren't programmers to compare some of the data and just sort of look at it without having, programming knowledge. So it's going to be a point-and-click little app that allows people to show a little chart about some stuff that's in the data.
On the screen, I can see that we've got the API up, so that's the UK Data Service website, and you've also got a command line in your terminal window. So how do we get started?
Exactly. So we're going to assume you have, a little HTML, maybe a little JavaScript, a little CSS, just to get a rudimentary website up. If not, you can probably just do what I do and just sort of copy the code, and it'll work for you as well. I'll explain as we go along. So first, let's set up the sort of groundwork for the API, which is we have a directory. So we need to put a little HTML up. So an HTML page is just a bit of text. For now, the European Quality of Life Survey is the data set we're looking at. So, so to look at a web app, we're going to pretend we are opening this page from the internet. So we have to run our own web server. And if you followed the previous tutorial where we talked a little bit about Python, you already have Python on your computer, so you can use that to run a little web server that sort of fakes the way people would access this on the internet. So I'm opening a second terminal. Here we go. My little app is, and I can just type Python HTTP server. And it'll bring up a little web server on port 8000. So that's right now. You'll see, okay, there's something happening here. So whatever I do here on the left, so what we want our app to be split up in I guess, 3 little parts, which are first we want picker. One picks a topic. Okay. We display a list of topics, then someone picks a topic, and then we load the variables that belong to that topic, and someone picks a variable. A variable corresponds in the data set to a question that people were asked in the questionnaire. So maybe you have a topic housing, and then how many people live in your house, and then the last thing is the chart. where we will display a chart. Live in your house in a bar graph probably. So that's in here. So we have the topic picker here. That doesn't look very impressive. So we're going to resort to free tools that Ralph was talking about. Oh, talking of free tools, I'm using the editor to the left. That's Vim. That's free, but maybe a little hard to handle. If you want an editor that can, edit HTML and JavaScript and stuff like that, you can go Notepad++. Good one for Windows. Okay, so speaking of free tools, on the left side you can see I'm using my own programmer's editor, which is called Vim, but it's maybe a little hard to handle. If you're on Windows and you're trying to follow along, Notepad isn't a very good choice because Notepad doesn't do this thing, as you can see here, where it highlights bits of the source code, so you know where you are. If you're on Windows, you can get Notepad++. It's a really good one. That's for free. And you can just download that and run that. It's a small thing, small editor. So it doesn't take up much space, but it does the source code highlighting, and it's generally pleasant to use when you're programming. Of course, you can get bigger ones for money, but this is fine to start out with. So, okay. And to sort of give our app a nice coating, we're going to use Bootstrap. This thing. It's made by Twitter. And that means you just sort of import this to your app and it'll look like this, or roughly like this. So you don't have to, it'll look nice from the start because this was made by, professional designers, and you can just download sort of the design into your app. Actually, we are not going to use this straight up. You can also do Bootswatch. Bootswatch, not Botswatch. So you have a little variety here. I think I'm going to go with maybe sandstone. Yeah, I think it looks nice. Okay, so let's go with this. Just download the bootstrap.min.css. Exactly. And we're going to save that. Coding UKDS. So we're going to make a folder, save that there. Right. So that's Bootswatch. It's imported to our app. So we go it should look better if we reload now. Okay, it looks different, at least, and we'll get to looking better in a minute. So, navigation bar on top. Okay. And then let's do this and Then we have whoops. I'm just sort of shifting stuff around, so to get to the final layout. Okay, and now we're going to put these next to each other. Okay, so we have the topic picker, then next to that the var picker, and below both is the chart. If you want to know how that works, these sort of columns, the containers and the rows, you go to Boots, and you go to the grid system, which describes this stuff. So you can sort of arrange your app in a grid of 12 columns, and I'm going to say, okay, we use 6 columns, and next to that 6 columns again, and below that 12 columns. So you get this sort of layout. So that's how you can quickly structure your app into stuff that you want to pick. So panel from that. Okay, there's a bit of spacing. And then we have components, panels. There we go. Panel default was missing. Okay. And 2. We have this. Okay, you can see that it's adding stuff. It's adding a border and stuff like that. So we also need a panel body. So that's, whoops. Okay, it's getting prettier. Again, anytime you need to look this sort of stuff up, just go to Bootstrap. The documentation is quite extensive, and this is how it works. Okay, so we can add headings too. So maybe we should do that as well. Let's just do. No, actually, this is where the graph goes. So let's do. Sorry. Oh, I'm doing something wrong with this. Let me see. I guess I have to put the panels. I can do that. So we put around this. And this goes. So this is and we go to this. Okay, that looks a bit nicer. And the one here below. All right, so that's our sort of build up for the app. So now we want to make the topics appear in the in this box, and we want to make the variables appear in this box when the user clicks one. And then when the user clicks a variable, we want to update the chart down here and draw it. So to help us with this sort of thing, as you can see, we have what we have here is basically components. So we have the topic picker as one, the other picker is one, and this chart is one. So we have 3 components to this app. So and there's stuff that can help us get this thing off the ground really, really quickly if we stick to this sort of blueprint of components. So okay, how can we do that? Of course, we're going to use JavaScript. So let's just script to this. So we'll put a script in that's called myapp.js. So I'll have that. And we open that. So this is our script. Okay, that works. So to do this, well, there's some stuff available that helps us get an app off the ground really quickly. And for example, there's jQuery, which is popular if you're doing, websites and other interactive stuff. But for data intensive apps, as you get going and stuff gets more complex, jQuery can get very annoying to build. So I'm going to use something that's called Mithril, which is a small, tiny library that's really great for apps that rely on data from APIs and where the data updates frequently. So you don't need to in jQuery. You have to go put 12 things here in this list and put if this changes, okay, find this thing, take it out, replace it with the thing that has changed and stuff like that. So you have to do a lot of stuff in jQuery manually, which in Mithril you don't have to do. You just update stuff, and Mithril will take care of updating all the stuff in your app to make sense. So we're going to use that. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll just get the minified version from GitHub really quickly. This looks good. Okay, we'll put in the JavaScript. And then we also load that in our app. And we should be able to call Mithril functions in our app. So I'll reload and I'll open the console. And be there, M is Mithril. And yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's Mithril. Okay. So I've Mithril available now. So we have 3 things: the topic picker, the var picker, and the chart. So let's encode. It's pretty easy, actually. Actually, it's just to the topic. So let's see. Okay, so to store the stuff, the topics, the variables, and the chart data, we need some place to store the data. And of course, we could do this all over the place when we're just doing it. But I prefer to do it in a thing, so I can reach all the stuff that I need from anywhere. So thing that our app needs goes, and we don't need anything else. So in the data store, we have our topics, which is a mithril prop. I'll explain. That's an empty list. We have our variable. Also, and our selected topic, which is and we have, if we later one, we have a selected at the moment. So okay, that's enough for now. So a prop is something like a var, so a variable. So var. A mithril prop actually updates the app if the stuff in there changes. So if I change the selected topic because it's not a regular, just a variable, because it's a prop, the app will automatically recognize that it has changed and will update itself to make this change, visible to the user. So instead of hand updating the site by adding and removing HTML elements, I just need to change what's in there, and the site will update itself. So that you get an app off the ground quickly. Data store, which is where all the stuff goes, and now we're going to build the thing that lets us pick topics. So the topic picker is a component. Components always have two parts. One is the control. And which is also a function. And the view function controller is an argument. I can controller inside the view function. Mithril does this for me automatically. If you're in the view, the controller will be in C automatically. And called the topic picker. And the controller contains everything the topic picker can do. And the view contains everything about how the topic picker should look. So we're going to start with the looks. Let's go. And okay, in the topic picker, we have a little, maybe some text. And the way that views work is you also using mithril, but which is a little more concise than HTML because it's got a pretty neat HTML building language. You can just say, okay, I want a div with picker. I don't know, a text saying hello. And you just add in a function. So that there's this M, just like the $ in jQuery. And M builds your HTML. It manages your props, which is up the API, and does some pretty neat things with it. So okay, let's sort of hook that up. Let's save it. Okay, and then we see what have we here. Topic picker. call this the topic picker, really. Oops. Doing it wrong. Actually, okay, I'm just missing the space. Right. And the var picker needs to be oh, come on. Needs to be down. Art. All right. Just so we don't overwrite. No, that's actually wrong. This needs to be here. Sorry. Now we're going to use this element, an ID, so we can find it at any time and just hook the code into there. So we say, okay, Mithril, mount. Topic picker, yeah. Define up. Executing the code before the page has rendered. So we need to actually put the app code after the stuff that renders the page. So we're going to put it. So now run after all the elements have been actually put into the page. If you put them in the head, if you put JavaScript code in the head, it will run before the whole page is loaded. So that didn't. So that we have hello in there. So that's working. You can see the code is actually building the HTML. That's what we want. So what we want in there is actually a list of topics. So let's first let's download topics. So we go to ukulele service and we want the topics. User key. Oh yeah, I should probably put this in a variable somewhere. Just so I don't have to use it all the time. And probably maybe the API URL, but we'll do that in a bit. So these are the topics. It's just, yep, that looks good. Sorry. Okay, we want this and we want and actually, yes. Right, so we need to make this call and download the topics. So what we're going to do is we're going to a controller file what runs all the time, which runs every time the topic picker is hooked up to the app. And we're going to say, okay, download the topics for me. So we say, actually, maybe we should put that in its own function. So we say download topic. What it does is it uses a Mithril feature called requests. There we go. And we say, okay, Mithril request. And then we describe the request. It's basically like calling JSON from jQuery. But it has some additional features that are quite nice to use. So we say, okay, we have method. API URL. US topics. The user. Okay, that's what we're going to call. Fun thing about method is you can sort of chain this stuff together. So if you know anything, if you're sort of advanced level JavaScript programmer, maybe you know what a promise is, and this sort of works like that. These are the light version of promises, which is really nice to use if you're trying to write an app. So okay, we're doing the request, and then we can just chain it into another thing. Then okay, console log. Does this, we have a function called download topics, and it will request the topics from the API and then log them to the console when they're finished downloading. So we're going to run that when the starts. When it starts, okay, let's try that out. Whoops. Oh, okay, probably Mithril rewrites the controller, this inside the controller, which is not what we really want. I'm going to take the easy way out, really, and just put this into its own. Or maybe we put it inside the controller. Yeah, I think that's a good compromise. Okay, let's try that. That doesn't load. So let's try this out. Actually, before we do that, we have to, that's not a proper URL. So let's do this. Okay. And then when we run it, let's save it. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, it's logged. So it's downloaded. It's downloaded the topics and logged them to the console. So what have we here? Okay, we have topics, stuff like that. So we have topic values and topic IDs. Okay, so let's maybe make a table for that. So we say, okay, we build a table with a class table default. In so you stuff that goes into that element as an array, as a JavaScript array, so you can just build it up out of arrays, which is actually it's less to write than doing the HTML the regular way. So I quite like it, even though it may look a little a little weird at first. Okay, so we have a table, and in the table we have a table heading. And we have, let's just do this here. We have that's the table heading. We have a row. At that we have inside that we have a couple table cells, actually header cells. This is topic and table header contents. Actually doesn't interest the user, but we're going to put it in anyway. And then we have a table. And the table body contains our topics. So this works like assuming we have topics. So I'll just go with, we'll do a function here. We'll say, okay, we'll go function that says render topics. Our data store we get our topics. We have to, and you could just normally take variables, but props you have to call, because on every call it will check if it's updated. So okay, we ask if our data store topics, if we have something in there, if it's longer than 0, then we'll say, okay, return, and we'll do stuff. And if it's 0 or less, which isn't really possible, but whatever, we say, okay, we do a little error message maybe. Or actually, if it's 0, it probably means it's still loading. So we'll diff there's an alert info, and that says loading. Right. So and we can maybe probably actually say return loaded if it's loaded, just for a placeholder. Okay, and then we say inside the table body, we just do controller render topics, and that's it. So for this to work, we actually have to put the topics into the data store. So we're going to do that. So then we say the result has error in topics. So we say data store topics, and then we call that with result and the topics from that. So what should happen here is it downloads the topics and it puts them in the data store, and the data store should update. The rest of the app should automatically recognize that something has changed in the data store, meaning it should display loading when nothing is in there, and once stuff has been loaded, the loading should automatically go away. So let's give that a try. No, actually, I have a typo somewhere. Oh yeah, that's a bit. That should be a function, and this should be semicolon. Should also be a semicolon. Okay, let's try that. Okay, it sort of worked. It doesn't display loading stuff. Why not? Maybe it's just too fast. Well, let's see. Maybe it's just really too fast, so maybe it does load. Okay, anyway, then when we are done with the topics, we will return a map of the topics. So we say, do we have a map here? Yeah, we do have. So map is only available in newer browsers, so you have to be a little bit careful. If you have anything newer than Internet Explorer 9, you're probably good. So we're just going to use this. So we say, so map is something that takes an array and transforms it. So we have an array of topics, and we'd like to transform that into table rows. So we take, we say, okay, let's get the topics. And we say map that over a function, which gets a single topic. And for the topic, we want a table row, which says it's made up of table cell, which has the topic label, is it? I think. Let's have a look. Topic value, sorry. And another cell that has topic ID. Okay, I'm curious. Okay, that worked immediately, which is always nice. So what we're doing is we're downloading the topics and we're putting in the data store, and we don't have to do anything. The app will automatically detect that something has changed in the data store and then render it. So it just gets the topics and renders them to a table without having to do much. It's just 50 lines of code. We have a thing that downloads the topics and just puts them automatically in the table. And now we want to have that clickable, or maybe actually we should spend a little time on the CSS first. Yeah, let's do that. And just sort of, let's have a look at the table panel body, is it? Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. And we have to link that in. Okay, and then we say if we have topic picker and we are in the panel body, we want that to be 500 pixels high at any time. And if it's longer than that, scroll through it. What's that? Overflow scroll, sorry. Let's see if that helps. Doesn't. Why doesn't it do that? It's loading that. Maybe I'm using the wrong element keys. Oh, yeah. So that's topic picker, panel body. So actually that should be like that. That should hopefully work. Yeah, that's more like it. All right. So we have a little scrolly table. That's a little more convenient. Maybe let's do 400 pixels. And let's do the table, let's say add some stuff. Makes the table nicer looking. Bootstrap does this for us, so we just need to add these HTML classes and it'll do it automatically for us. Okay, so now we want to add a thing that when we click on a topic, it'll automatically pick that. So we have our rendered topic, which is here. Okay, this is the table row. And now we can say we add a thing that says, okay, if we click on it, it's just for a test, let's just say log the topic ID. So let's try that. Console. Reload. Okay, that works. I can click anything and it'll give me the topic ID. So now all I have to do is put the topic ID into the prop. So I say data store select the topic. And that's my current topic, and from that the ID. Okay, now we probably want to display that somehow. So let's just start work on the variable picker. So that is again just a thing that contains a control and a view. Okay. And what this does is it checks if we have something in there. Then we say, hang on, that's a prop, so we have to call it. Then we say topic selected. And if not, actually we can do that. Okay, sorry. So now we have a little thing that works off the data store. It also detects if stuff is selected or not, and we just need to mount that. This is the var picker. So no topic selected. If I click one, boom, we go there, topic 3 selected. So this stuff works more or less seamlessly together. And you didn't need to, drop out HTML elements or put some new ones, and it just updates itself automatically. So as you can see, this if you need to build an app that's a little more complex, this is allows for rapid, development. So moving on, now that we can select topics, we have to download the variables for that topic. So we go we have again a function that we call download variables, or a vars. I think it's easier to type. And that really does pretty much what this does, which is we'll take this, copy it down here. Okay, how do we download variables for a topic? Let's see. Variables, topic variables. There we go. Okay, and we use the dataset code, and the topic ID is maybe 3. Okay, we see it's datasets equal as topics 3 variables. Okay, so we have datasets equal as topics, and then we have the topic ID, which is in our data store. And variables. And then we, actually, let's log that. So, and actually, we need to do that whenever the topic changes. So, if data store selected topic okay, we'll say that whenever we change something, we call it loaded topic, which is null. Actually, no, this needs to be, oh yeah, that's all right. So whenever we finished downloading the topics, we will put the thing that we have loaded into the data store. Which is actually, no, the variables need to do that. Okay, so if the loaded topic is null, or if the topic has changed, actually, no, we can do this. This will work. So if the topic has changed from the old topic, then download the vars. So this avoids reloading stuff if the user clicks on one topic several times. So, and after we download the vars, we actually will save this. Save this here. And we'll do this. And so So when we download the vars, we save the current topic, we download it, and when we're finished downloading, we save that. So that next time it'll recognize when something is changed. Okay, let's hope that works again. Okay, I've clicked it and it's loaded stuff. I click it again, it doesn't load stuff. I click this and it loads stuff. Okay, so we can click. Right, so we do the same thing for the variables. Instead of we have a thing called variables, so we go data store. What's it called? Vars. And we put the result variables in there. And then just like before, we have render variables. We can just copy that because it'll also be a table. Oops, this is not right. It belongs here. And we go oops, that was wrong. What have we here? Okay, we have variable ID. Selected var. And this is, let's call it V. And this is called probably label or something like that. Variable label. Okay. And maybe, okay, let's do the ID too, just because we're doing it anyway. So, okay, this works. Yep. And we can just copy the rest of the stuff as well. So, yeah, actually, this should do us. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Vars. Is that right? Let's try it out. Okay, this sort of works. Okay, let's get this ugly thing out of the way. This should be just return. Okay. Then we can click here and it'll give us, okay, a ton of stuff really. I guess we need another scroll bar. So we say, make the var picker work like that as well. Start, okay. Yep, that works. All right. And then we have there the chart. So for the chart, we'll do Actually, probably don't need another component because this one can do it. For charting, you will use chart.js, which is a nice library that can do bar charts like this, which is what we want. I'd just like to have, yeah, that's much better. Where is it? There, just a minified version. So that's good enough for us. So let's load that. Oops. Okay, so now if someone clicks on the variable, we say draw chart, which with the variable ID. Actually, we need to wrap that in a function. Okay, now we have to have a function that's called draw chart. And the first thing we do is, obviously, we download the data again. So let's do that. And let's see how that works. That's down here. EQLS, let's take, I don't know, 43, whatever it is. Actually, yeah, we're going to need, like we did in the Python tutorial before, we're going to need the categories and stuff. So we actually don't give just the ID, we give the whole variable to the function. So it's got a reference to all the categories and stuff. Okay, that's what we need later. And then we download the data, which is EQLS time series frequency. Current topic we don't need, but we do need this stuff. And we need variable ID equals v.variable ID. So that should download the stuff. So let's check that. Not quoted. All right. Reload. And I pretty much made an error somewhere, or it would load. Okay, it's 969. Where's that? Okay. Oh yeah, okay, you don't need a semicolon at the end of that. This works. So with this, and then it'll load the data, hopefully. No, it doesn't, because I did something wrong. Oh yeah, this is something else in that. So we need a reference to the controller. Okay, the controller, which is to it here. Just call it self or something like that. There's a little quirk of JavaScript that sometimes this isn't it isn't always what you think in all circumstances. It's a little hard to keep track of. So we're just aligning to self, and then it works. So we at the point above here, this is still the controller. So we just point that to self, and we can access self down here, where this has actually changed to refer to just this bit of code. So it's a little different. So we're in a smaller box now, so we can't access the draw chart function, which is outside the box. Okay. Okay, so when we click a variable, it downloads stuff. You can see that here. Okay, that's a pretty short time series, but all right. And we'll need the categories and stuff. Let's have a look at how chart.js needs its stuff. Okay, so we have labels and data sets. We need to have a data that goes like that. So we are actually going to add another function. And we'll use this to sort of transform and return it as chartable data. And then we have here chartable. Okay, that's the nice thing about being able to chain the stuff together. You can download stuff, then use a function to transform it, and then put it into a chart. It's a sort of pipeline of stuff that happens, and it just works all together. All right. We want something that looks like, well, we need to find the years first. So how many years are actually in there? So we have an empty list of years. And we go through all the time series points and say, okay, result. Let's have a look at this time series for each. We have a point. Well, let's just say P. Okay, and if we don't want to, is it contains index of? Okay, yeah, okay. Come on. Okay, if it's -1, it's not present. So if the year isn't already in the years, which is okay, fine, put it in there. Okay, and then what else do we need? With labels and data sets. Okay, so let's just set that up for return. Return this. And the labels are all the stuff that's in the variable. I can probably access that data store. Selected var. Don't have anything. Oh yeah, we don't do that at the moment. Okay, then we'll take data store vars, and let's take, I think we had let's 49, I think. Okay. So this is this one up here. We have categories, and we need to check that. So the labels are actually so we go for each category. Labels push, category label. Actually, we should be pushing an array of category label and category value. And let's just see if that works. Yep, okay, that works, but we're returning the whole stuff, and we just want the little stuff. We return the label and ID, and we want label and ID while we are working on the chart, but when we are finished, we just want the labels. So we have to map that again. And for every label and ID that's coming in, we say, okay, we just want label and ID what is first. So that should do us. Let's see. Okay, doesn't. Oh yeah, I need to return that. Okay. Yep, that works. All right. So now we need to arrange the data. So we have the years again. So for every year, we need to check the values. So for each year, if you've seen the Python code before, it's similar, only a lot shorter actually. Let's look what the chart needs. We have data sets that work with that year. Okay, we need to make a year that's got this whole stuff. Let's call an empty object. And okay, we say the label of that for that year is the actual year. And the data should be the values. So we go to the time series, which is result for each point in the time series. If the point matches the year and the point's value. Oh, we need to go through the categories as well. Sorry. So Yeah, let's do that. Actually, it's enough if we go to the labels. So we go for the labels for each label. We have this, and we take this. For each label. If we found something, so for each label, we go through the time series and see if we find the matching value. If we don't find it, we have to put in a 0. So by default, we haven't found anything, and now we go through and see if we find anything. So if the value is like the value we are looking for, which is the label's value, which is this, then we found something. And we say, and we put the weighted frequency into that. Okay. So yeah. Also, if we found something, we can, or we can maybe, can we break out of for each? I'll have a look. Oh, okay, that's difficult. Okay, then let's not do that. So while we haven't found anything, and the other stuff holds true, that works. So, okay, we go through the labels, we look for matching values, and if a value matches, we add it to the data. If we don't have it, so if at this point, after we're through the series and haven't found a matching point in time, so if not found, then we add 0. So we say, yeah, data push 0. Okay, so, and after that, what do we need for this? Data sets. Okay, so we have an empty list of data sets. And after we're done building our year, we add our year to the data sets. So, okay, and if we're done with that, hopefully that works. That's a bit much to keep in your head while you're coding. So let's hope this works out. Okay, there's no big errors. Okay, that went rather well. So we have labels, which is great, and we have label 2007 data. Okay, 0. Maybe we didn't have anything in 2007, or I did it wrong. No, actually, there's just no data in 2007. Okay, so now we have this in a sort of structure which works with chart.js. So let's chart it. Then we can say self-draw chart from this chartable data. Okay, I can't actually use this because this function is already called draw chart. It would just call itself, which we don't want. Actually, let's just draw the chart right here. So let's see how this works. We have to have canvas element, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, you can only draw charts on the canvas, so you don't need this. We need a canvas, which is a sort of place you can draw on. And we call that chart. And well, let's make that maybe, let's say 800 pixels wide and 500 high. And that's it. And if we want to draw something on that, as you can see on the right, we need to have a context for that. So hang on. I don't actually need to use a prop here because I'll be watching for updates myself. I don't need a prop for that. So right now we don't have anything in the chart context. So the chart context can tell us if the chart is drawn or not. So if we don't have a chart context, actually, you know what? Let's just use a prop anyway, but just because it's all the same then. So if we don't have a chart context, we need to make one. So document get element by ID. So we're getting the chart element over here. We're getting the sort of reference to that, and we're going inside the element and getting a drawing context. And can we update these? Actually, that would be nice. Well, let's just draw it for the first time, and let's start a chart as well. New chart in this context, which is a bar chart, really. And then we say data store chart context. Is it not called chart context? It is called chart context. We put the context in there, and we put the chart in there. Okay. And if it actually already exists, so if there's already a context, and no, hang on, if we don't have a context, then we create it, and if it already exists, we try to just update it. Let's see if that works. Let's just think. Okay. We'll rerun the job with any updated values. Data. Maybe it doesn't work like that. Okay, it animates and stuff. Okay, that's just for if the values change, but we want to change the whole chart. So if we already have a chart context, then we just create a new chart, but keep the context. Yeah, that should work. And put that here, and hopefully that should do us. Okay. Again, a lot of thinking, not much trying. Let's hope I've got it right. Oh, actually that worked. Nice, not bad. Let's click on, I don't know, let's see education. No, that's not much. Let's see health. Difficulty to see a doctor. Okay, it's loading, probably, hopefully. Maybe I should have a look at the console. Okay. So that the updating didn't work. So we do let's see. Oh yeah, I need to reuse the old context, which is data store chart context. Okay, run that again. Okay, that's a little much data, but it works. And let's see if this works. Okay, that works fine. So maybe let's just add some colors. No, I just want a list, really. Yeah, okay, let's use some of those. So we have C51, 5718B, and let's have some blue in there and some green. Oh, go away. And maybe, well, that should be enough, really. We're just using a few years. We have red, blue, green. Let's maybe use this yellowish tone. What's it? Beige. Okay. So then we go for each year. Yeah. And then we go. Let's see, chart.js needs colors. Chart. Fill color. And we take, sorry, British English. We take the current color, and when we're done with that, we increase it. So it'll go through a color list as it goes through the year list, and it should take a different color for each year. Let's have a look at that. Okay, that's, I guess there's just no 2007 data for this. So that's, okay, yeah, that works.